Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweedy, Matthew Johnson, Nick Thomas, and Lynn Dudgeon. Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I'm your host, Joe Tweeton, and with me today, for the second week in a row, that's right, just the two of us once again, the dungeon crawler himself, the Lynn Dungeon.
Ready to crawl some dungeons.
Hey, quick question. I had this in my head earlier today, and I thought to myself, I need to find out for sure. I don't know if anyone out there is curious, but I am. How did your parents introduce themselves to other people? When you grew up, what's the proper way to say your last name? Is there an emphasis on the duh, dudgeon, or is it just kind of roll off your tongue like dungeon? I mean, what's the most common, best way to say your last name?
No, it's dudgeon.
So like there is a small emphasis on the D.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. It's set in stone for our intro. when we're introducing the host names with the music, the epic music, I put an emphasis. If you really listen carefully, listeners, you'll hear a very deep voice, Dudgeon. Very but I emphasized the D because you told me that, many episodes ago. Oh, yeah. That's how it was said. I just wanted to clarify. Completely unimportant to the rest of the episode tonight, but I felt it was necessary for myself. And if anyone else is curious, they don't have to be embarrassed about asking. Now they know.
They could always they could always Google it too. It has its own definition.
Ooh, that's true. If you guys are into names, meanings, and their origins, I guess they could look it up.
It's worth the Google.
As always. That being said, guys, do you want to dig into some nerdy talk tonight?
I'm down. I'm ready to dig in.
I'm ready to dig in too, and I'm only a few shots into my vodka. How about you?
Same here. Only a few shots.
Not to call us out, Lynn, but we're honest here sometimes, most of the time. Let's jump. Yeah. Well, guys, I've got a brief lineup, a classic Nerdentials episode before you. This is going to be episode 46. Don't forget to go check out our 2-year anniversary episode, number 45. I highly recommend you guys go to YouTube. I mean, I promote all the various forms that you guys can consume our content, but seriously, go to YouTube and at least, for the first 10 minutes at least, watch the introduction of that episode, because me and the great Matthew Johnson spent a considerable amount of time, the span of 30 months, if you will, putting together a wonderful parody of time travel and misadventure and getting us into a year 3 setting. Basically, for the end of year 2, we wanted to find ourselves in a new location, a new studio, and we wanted to hype our listeners and viewers with the promise of more consistent content and lofty ideas. And let's just say it was a hilarious little introduction. A few minutes of your time on YouTube, guys. Just watch episode 45 on YouTube for the sake of seeing that. That being said, let me plug a couple quick housekeeping things before we kick things off. You guys can go find us on the classic social medias of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by looking us up at Nerdentials. You can also follow us on the YouTube for our video content, and we're also on Apple Podcasts and Android, Google Let's Plays. I screwed that up.
Google Let's Plays.
Google.
Google Plays.
What is it?
Plays of the Googles.
Oh, what is it, Lynn? I'm screwing up right now.
It's the Play Store.
Yeah. Look for podcasts on Google. On the Android market, we're there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Massive brain fart tonight. Anyway, guys. But to find all of that in one beautiful, concise location, go to nerdentialsmedia.com. nerdentialsmedia.com. Thank you, Lynn, for the classy tail end. .com. Or just Google Nerdentials. You will find us, I promise you. Now that all that's out of the way.
He promises. Hold him to it.
No, seriously, hold me to it. And I don't want any threats, so please don't. But just, trust my word.
Refer
us on Google, you'll find it.
To me.
Yeah, throw it to the guy in the desert.
Yeah,
he don't mind.
I'll take him with a grain of sand.
Literally a grain of sand. Anyway, guys, that being said, we've gotten a little bit of feedback that I would briefly like to acknowledge. I just want to shout out our long viewer listener on YouTube known as Carmen. Bless her heart. She has laid down the feedbacks for our 2-year anniversary video. And she's still sticking around.
Thank you for the feedback.
So shout out to you, Carmen. And guess what? She joined our Discord. And you guys should too. Go click down on that second link right below the website, nerdentials.com. You can find it there too. But there's a Discord chat right there. Right at the bottom of this video and at the bottom of the podcast description. The very first thing, Discord.
We
you guys
have
don't know
room now for suggestions.
Yeah. Yes, and there's a chat spot on that Discord for feedback and suggestions. You guys don't have to worry about the silly emails, the Twitters, or anything else. We still check all of those, but if that's not your bag of tea and you're more into the Discord, join the Discord like Carmen did.
Yeah.
Yeah! She enjoys daily conversations with us. You know why? Because we're on there every day. It's kind of like our own personal chat room. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That being said, guys, let's move on into the main topic. Let's move into the episode, shall we? Let's jump into Movie Matters.
Movie Matters.
Dude, you are going to give someone epilepsy. You need to stop that, Lynn. Stop. You're good.
We're still
Listeners,
in the middle of
follow my
transition.
face. Don't look over there. Don't look at Lynn. You're going to get sick.
It's just an earthquake. Earthquake in the desert. It's not, it's flat. It's not going to do any damage. Let's be honest.
Okay, you good?
Nah, I've been good. Let's do this.
What I meant was, are you ready to jump in?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to jump in. Where are we jumping?
Okay.
Deep end?
Possibly deep end if we're going to talk about Aquaman. Ba-doom.
Oh, you're
All right, here we go, Lynn.
Funny. Let's do it.
Puns out the ass. Hey guys. After my bubbly finishes in the chest.
Oh, whoa.
Welcome.
We're We're doing ASMR now too?
I don't know how sensitive my mic is.
Hey guys.
We're,
Aquaman.
we're gonna have some good post scenes or extra credit scenes. I don't know yet. Hey guys, welcome to Movie Matters, where movies do matter, and this is where we talk about them. Shall we? Lynn, you ready?
Yeah, we shall.
Okay. First thing up, let's clear things up real quick, because before we get completely into it, we got some feedback not too long ago that where some people were saying, hey, they miss the news, like the nerdy news that we used to deliver on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know that whole part, the whole thing behind nerd news, where
we did that once.
At one point we were trying to deliver nerdy news, and I think we need to go back to it.
It's a staple that we need to go back to.
And put it back into our foundation, possibly?
So, you want to roll that beautiful bean footage?
Yes. If you guys were with us in the last episode, let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Alright, what's the first topic?
Okay, first topic. Aquaman test screenings are looking promising. Now,
Are they?
actually, truth be told, we have a few reactions over Twitter on people that actually went and got to see early test screenings. This is a thing that happens, guys. So, most big pictures in Hollywood. Yeah, that's California, for you guys that aren't completely in the know.
Wait, that's where Hollywood's at?
Now you're in the know, if you didn't know before.
Newsworthy.
So, I would like to read off a few tweets from these screeners. One person said, I can say I've seen Aquaman. I can't talk about details, but I can tell you it's a major achievement in filmmaking and storytelling. It's a display that Walter Amada is doing a great job. It's evidence that James should direct more DC movies. The director, James Wan. Ah, that...
Do you have a Twitter name for that? Like, is the person's screen name there?
Yeah, Mick Minus from @MoviesTVMad tweeted out. I'm gonna just quick fire a few other statements because a lot of these seem pretty promising. So,
Right.
Someone else wrote, Aquaman is my top DC movie now. You heard it here first. First to watch it on the West Coast.
Ooh.
Yeah, so someone else posted, Aquaman was so good, and they used the both hands up emoji. You familiar with that, Lynn?
Yes.
Little sparkles across the fingers, both hands up, almost like a hallelujah, or oh, we aren't worthy, almost kind of like two hands up kind of a thing.
Or it's when two jazz hands meet. You don't do that.
I've heard someone comment that that's what those are too. I don't know. To each his own. Both
Fair
hands
enough.
up, smiley face. They're giving it high praise with emojis. Someone else wrote, for those asking, audiences seem to really love Aquaman last night. Haven't heard a single bad thing. Beautiful, funny, adventurous. It's really everything you want. The one kind of mixed feelings, but still, it wasn't super negative. But Baji from @AmonBars wrote, so about Aquaman, a reaction from Final Film. It's pretty good. Not groundbreaking, but solid. Action is good, story is alright, CGI is decent, score is meh. First negative real thing that anyone said about it so far.
So
The Mira, Arthur are hit and miss, and overall a good film. So, the thing we get out of all these tweets, um,
hold on.
is that
All
everyone
all
had a good time watching it.
all the others got paid to tweet good, and that one last guy didn't get paid, and he was real.
Well, if you want to put a little, shine a little light of either negativity or realism into this thing, I mean,
I don't
possibly.
I don't know. I'm just at least he's honest. That's all that matters.
Possibly. I mean,
Either that or it's just
I
really, really good, and he's just a little too cynical. One of the two.
well, it's not unheard of to have a few, cynics in there. And
Well, yeah.
but to be honest, how cynical was that? I mean,
Not even.
that not there was not a lot of shade thrown on that at all.
No. He.
Um,
I think he was probably just being honest, and it might not have been his exact cup of tea. So. But he still said it was a good movie.
but he said it was good, which means he's one of those guys that, or persons in general, that you go to a summer flick and it's one of those movies maybe you go into and you choose not to analyze it. You just go in to experience it. And for him, I think he still, it was a screener he went to, so obviously he's like, I got to look at it a little critically to, because I'm being given the privilege of seeing an early screener for the purposes of giving my opinion, so that the greater public and other publications can get kind of an idea or a feel of what to expect.
Yeah.
Because everyone that goes to a screener has to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, which means they can't talk about specifics, but they're allowed to, with screen testers, they're allowed to share their general feelings.
Their vague opinions on what they saw.
Yeah, right. Vague feelings. But and then James Wan, who is the director for this film, he's been very outspoken this whole time with positive tweets, just promoting the work he's done. I don't know too many directors that do that, that aren't given the freedom to do so. I mean, we've seen a lot of not so successful previous things from DC with the directors in question, the producers, and the studio. But in this case, like, James Wan, but here's the thing we have to take away from this. James Wan was offered to do the movie initially, and then through stipulations of not having complete control, he walked away from it. And then Warner Brothers begged for him to come back and gave him complete control over it. And that's the only reason he came back to it, is because Warner Brothers said, okay, we'll let you make the Aquaman movie you want to make if you're willing to come back and make this for us. Because he's already an established director. He's primarily a horror film director.
Yeah.
He did the Conjuring series. He's worked on writing for the Saw franchise. He's done a number of things that have been highly successful. And this is his first foray into superhero films. But he strikes me as the kind of like artistic director that, I mean, for crying out loud, he walked away from it before, and then they said, nope, hey, we know what we know your bread and butter. We know what you're capable of as a director. We want you on the project because, let's be honest, Warner Brothers needs to make a few dimes out of this if they want to keep going forward with more superhero films. So, bottom line, I kind of have a bit of confidence in James Wan's positive statements on social media, and the fact that early screen tests, people are tweeting positive things about it. Let's just say, out of all the DC movies, aside from Man of Steel, because we didn't know what what the new DC movies were going to be before Man of Steel, I'd say Aquaman is one of my more anticipated films in a long time from DC. I'm really excited to see what this could do for the franchise.
I enjoyed Wonder Woman, and
I will throw this out there. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would definitely like to give Aquaman a try after hearing that, and see where it goes from there. Because I mean, it could only be good, if not great.
Yeah, and based on what we're hearing, it sounds like at the very least it's going to be a fun movie. It may not be super, in depth or character developing as much as it might just be a really fun time in the theaters.
Yeah.
And at the very least, that's definitely what we're hearing. But you bring up a good point. That is a nice quick segue into our second topic. Wonder Woman 1984, aka Wonder Woman 2, the sequel, getting pushed back almost 7 months to a release date for a summertime 2020 release instead of the fall, I believe previously December release of 2019, or November, December of 2019.
Was there any back information on why they did the push?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest, and that's where I was gonna jump into. So like the primary reason. Now here's the thing. Like, Wonder Woman is one of the most successful DC movie to have come out thus far, right? Racking in more than $800 million in the box office, and it came out, if you recall, Lynn, it came out during the summer 2017, just over a year ago, during the summertime. And here's the thing: December of next year. The sole reason they're moving the date. This is one of those rare occasions, dude, where they're moving the date because they want to optimize the possibility of the amount of money that it could make. Versus if you release it December 2019, already we have a list of huge family-friendly movies coming out in 2019. We've got Star Wars Episode 9, the finale to the franchise, slated roughly, not an exact date, but slated for 2019. That's a family-friendly, huge movie from Disney. It's coming, I think, the week of Christmas in December. God, I know I'm missing at least two more films, but there's too much competition. Too many family-friendly films. Now, that's not to say that Wonder Woman 2, the sequel, won't do good on its own, but it's definitely not going to make as much money when there's 2 or 3 other movies that families are considering going to.
When it's got to fight the box office of the other big name films.
And that's what it comes down to, because think about this, dude, like, some single unmarried folks out there that have a little extra money and love going to movies might be able to pull this off. But
that's pretty rough. That's like 3 big name Disney right there coming out.
Yeah, but consider this. Like, we're familiar with the idea of wanting to take our kids to movies, and if you've got 1 or even 2 plus kids, that's a huge chunk of change to go out and see a movie. And for families of 2 or more kids, you're spending $40-50 just to go see the movie and maybe get some popcorn and a drink.
Yeah.
I'm saying for the average moviegoer, and depending on where you go, I mean it's $12 for adults depending on where you go, and it's $6 to $8 for kids depending on where you go. I'm generalizing
Yeah.
that for just movie tickets, me, my wife, and my 2 older girls, I could spend over $30 just for the 4 of us to go. Over $30.
Yep.
And now add that up, 1 movie, 2 movies, maybe 3 movies if they're all coming out in the same month. I don't go to see that many movies. And Hollywood knows this. They know the average middle class family that goes to the theater is not going to go more than once or twice in a given month.
Yeah.
So if you put your Wonder Woman movie in there, which was highly successful, plenty of moms and daughters went. You know what I mean? It was and one of the better DC films to date.
Oh yeah.
It came out in the summertime during a time when not a lot of other movies were competing with it. So it was partially the timing and the films that were coming out that helped it make as much as it did. Not because it wasn't good, but it was good and it was in a prime time. And so
it's always all about location.
Yeah, so Warner Brothers. And here's the thing, as fans, we want this to make as much money as it can, because the more money a movie makes that we love, the more
likely to get a sequel it is.
The more sequels, the more things we're going to get from that company. And
or even production value, cast.
You look at any given industry, when a product makes more than was expected, the future product in that field, they have more room to make it even better. They got more money and more clout to put more into it for the next one coming down the line.
And also less likely to get cut.
That too. So many things get cut due to mild underperformance, especially if we're talking about TV.
Right.
And movie projects. There's a lot of films that have been canceled or pushed back because of such things.
Or like another Justice League movie.
Justice League who? Yeah.
Oh, what?
Hey, so
okay,
let's skip a beat and hop over to a little bit of Marvel chatter in the world of movies.
Oh.
We've got some big stuff coming up that we'll save for when the rest of the crew's here.
Okay.
Some things I've heard regarding Avengers 4, titles, set photos, things like that I would like to get the rest of the crew in on, and I wasn't prepared to talk about tonight.
Darn it.
However,
Lynn's not cool enough for the Marvel talk. No.
No, it's not that we're doing Marvel talk, Lynn. It's not that.
Well, the Avengers 4 talk. No.
Well, I had a long week, dude. I just didn't have enough notes on those other things to have a full conversation about them.
Oh, it's good. It'd be better off to have Matt and Nick here anyway.
Word. But that being said,
Miss you
guys.
Not
shout out to you. It's not that I don't want to hear their opinions on this next topic, but this is definitely one we can still talk about regardless.
Yeah.
So, guys, word has it, a lot of people have been talking about it already. We haven't mentioned it yet, but Deadpool 2 is getting re-released with a PG-13 cut in December.
Really?
Now that alone was news a few weeks ago. We haven't talked about it yet because we're a little behind the times on news, aren't we, guys? Trying to catch up, though.
Considering we haven't really covered news in a while.
This is true. It's been primarily because of our inconsistent uploading nature. I just didn't want to commit to our listeners and viewers news things. But now that we're going weekly, I think it's okay to bring news back. Commitment, guys. Goals, like we talked about last time, Lynn.
Goals.
And commitment.
Goals.
Hey, fist bump the side of your screen. No, other side. Nope, other side. Other direction. Fail.
Like this?
Yes. Yeah. Fist bump me. You're so close to the screen. Anyway. Okay, moving on. We're being absurd now. Okay.
What? No, there's no absurdity here.
None at all.
Shenanigan. What it is.
So, big news is that Fox wants to release a PG-13 cut of Deadpool. Now, this might be like a WTF thing for some, like a why for others. But let's consider this. I would say on the onset of the overall appearance of this news, so what? Because people were upset that Venom came out as a PG-13 film because there was ideas that there was supposed to be an R-rated version, and fans didn't get that. But guess what? We already got the R-rated version of Deadpool. So you know what? If you don't want to see the PG-13 cut, don't go see it. You already got what you wanted, right? However, there's a little bit of a spin on the reason or idea behind releasing this PG-13 cut. I'm not going to ignore the fact that Fox wants to make a few extra bucks. So, of course, why not release a PG-13 cut?
They're not the first ones to re-release something just to make a quick buck.
They're not. But to be fair, this whole project is only happening because Ryan Reynolds gave Fox a stipulation behind allowing this to happen, more or less. Him and the writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick working with Reynolds, and the only reason Reynolds said he would do this is if it was for a good cause. Because, quite frankly, they already did the R-rated cut. They personally had no desire to make it cut down for kids or make it PG-13 or whatever. But you know what? The studio agreed with them, and Ryan Reynolds said, okay, here's the thing. Ryan Reynolds explained to Deadline, he said, and I quote, that for every ticket sold, $1 will go to the audaciously named F Cancer campaign, which will temporarily be renamed Fudge Cancer for the purpose of tie-in fundraising efforts. So, bottom line, Fudge Cancer to celebrate the cut, the family-friendly version of this movie. And the other news piece to this is that we got the official title just earlier in the week. It's being called affectionately for a December release, Once Upon a Deadpool. And
it's fitting. Fudge.
December 12th. December 12th is this limited re-release with a PG-13 cut. And every dollar is going towards the Fudge Cancer Foundation, just for the duration of this fundraiser. And to be honest, I gotta go watch Deadpool 2 first, guys. With all this, you guys were with us last week, me and Lynn. I admitted to everyone that I was super far behind on Marvel shows, CW shows. I got a full-time job and family, guys, and most of us do. But that doesn't mean I don't want to be on top of things for the sake of news for you guys out there. That being said, I know me and the wife very much want to check out Deadpool 2 in its original release, and I will gladly go back to theaters to see what this PG-13 cut is all about. It's for a good cause anyway. And they stated in the news that they went back for some reshoots, like they added more footage with Ryan Reynolds. So, like, what do you? I've got a couple thoughts, Lynn, but what do you think they're adding to this? Because clearly they have to cut out the R-rated stuff. You know,
just a bit.
The amount of F-bombs, the level of violence, and if there's anything sexual in it, that's probably gone. We've got a pretty good idea that there is some of that, because if Deadpool 1's any indication. What do you think they're adding to it, though?
I don't know what they'd be adding. I feel like it'd probably be the intermissions or the
parts cut where they cut.
Yeah, like the cover-ups, and that in and of itself has potential to be good. Like there's comedic value in cover-up.
Oh, absolutely. Look, and I mean, example, this show. Anytime I say, like, if I'm angry at you, Lynn, I'm like, F you. See, now that bleep I just put there, like, I mean, you don't hear it right now because we're raw recording.
Yeah.
But for the listeners out there, I bleep that stuff out. Mostly because I do have, younger audiences and family that likes to listen to this. But also, I think bleeping is kind of comedic. Especially when someone is ranting, like going in a complete tirade and like cussing up a storm. I think.
Oh man!
I bleeped the early episodes, dude. I bleeped the crap out of Paul Roman.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and Jeff Barry. What were you gonna say? Oh
no! Like the bleeping in Scott Pilgrim when Julie drops the F-bomb, where it's that weird that is hilarious editing right there.
Right, so like that's my point, is that super certain like purposeful censoring is sometimes comedic or adds comedy to it. I can't take the credit for this, but I listened to a podcast from the Popcorn Talk Network for Marvel Movie News, and one of the guys on that podcast threw out his idea, or like kind of like hopeful theory expectation, that it would be funny to see Ryan Reynolds in the Deadpool getup, like mask on, but he would be in a bathrobe and like slippers, sitting in front of the fireplace, like narrating the whole thing. So like this added footage could be a little bit of like Deadpool narrating the story. He already breaks the fourth wall within the movie, but what if he broke the fifth wall? The fifth wall to the fourth wall by making it a story inside of a story, where he's in, and during those dirty bits, those adult moments, camera cuts to him in front of the fireplace being like, and we're going to skip that part for the kids. Moving on. And then he continues narrating. Like
a long sip off some hot cocoa or something.
Oh, you're still listening? So I had to cut for that. Or I don't know. There's a lot of things they could do to it to make it, to add more humor to it than it already had, and make it family friendly to watch.
Oh yeah.
And bottom line, like, pessimists will come in here and be like, "Oh, they're trying to control the blah blah blah," but they already got their R-rated version, so that's not what the studio's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, yeah, they're looking for a few extra bucks to pull out of it, but this is where we can give credit to Ryan Reynolds because he said, "Hey, I'm not going to do this unless it's for a good cause." Because
Exactly.
they already made their pennies on the original release. So to re-release it, if it's going to benefit the studio, I really give props and appreciate Ryan Reynolds for saying, "Hey, I'm fine with it if it's going to be for a good cause." So
Yep.
I think that's pretty sweet.
For
Well,
sure.
guys, huh?
I said for sure. That's
For sure. Well, that's gonna kind of wrap it up for news, Lynn. I think those are the main highlights we had for the week. And the only other thing I had for TV talk, the Alfred Pennyworth prequel series that's being fronted by the showrunner who currently runs the Gotham series on Fox, but he's now going to create a completely separate backstory prequel series focused around Alfred Pennyworth in his 20s, when he met up and befriended Bruce Wayne's father. I forget his father's name. Something Wayne. Obviously. That was stupid. Obvious. Hey, this is all getting cut out.
something.
Thomas
something
Wayne. I'm not looking at it right now. It just came to my head. Thomas Wayne is Bruce Wayne's father. Thomas Wayne.
Are you sure?
Thomas Wayne and Alfred. No, shut up. I'm not reading it right now. I'm looking at the bullet points that you can't even see.
I still don't have a picture of you, so I can't tell if you're lying.
Oh, you can't. What am I doing? I'm okay. Okay. Yeah, to the computer. All right, let's do TV talk. Okay, so like
TV talk.
wherever I wrapped up,
And away we go.
All right, guys, welcome to TV talk.
Talk
Today,
about TV.
we're talking about TV. Thank you, Lynn. Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, we're done with news for now. The highlights were in the movie section. I know. I don't know how this episode's going to come out, folks, but there's eventually going to be structure here. We talked about movies first. All of it happened to be news. No reviews this time. Matthew, when you come back, we expect a Venom review.
That's sweet Venom review.
He has watched it, right? Symbiotes. But so anyway, Movie Matters was mostly news today, guys. We don't have any news bits to hit right now on the TV section, but I did want to briefly catch you all up, since we did this last week, me and Lynn, on some TV that we've been watching. I've actually been moving forward with my whole CW Marvel binging.
Oh man, your sweet backlog reviews.
My sweet backlog reviews. Okay. Quick. This will be quick. I did not have a lot prepared in the way of dialogue or bullet points, so it will be quick. I am currently, this week, or a couple days ago, I finished season 2 of CW's The Arrow. And if you guys recall, in our previous episode, I gave season 1 no, sorry, I'm super buzzed right now, and I just realized I know. You know what? Lynn, we are still working on that rating system, and we have not gotten the feedback we need yet.
Well, yeah, because nobody's really given us feedback on what we should do for a score.
I know.
Hey, it'd be great if somebody got onto our Discord and gave us advice for what we should do for a score.
Guys, hop on that Discord and give us some ideas or suggestions on a rating system. Like terms we can use to describe the greatest thing ever to happen or the worst piece of trash you've ever smelled. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've jokingly thrown out the words nerdgasm. That kind of carries a little weight of sexual innuendo, but I think everyone in 2018 should get the fuck over it. Sorry guys, as far as sensitivity goes, give us ideas. That's all I'm saying. On a rating system of like 1 to 5, 1 to 10, we got a number system. We do the 1 to 10 thing, and it's okay. It's a thing. It works. But I would love to put context. I would love to put context behind the number. I don't want to just say 10 and you're like, well, 10 must be the greatest thing in the world. It should, yes, agreed. But I want to like come up with the right phrasing lets you know.
For now, let's keep it simple and do like a 1 through 5, so that way we can narrow down.
Okay.
Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of getting what I'm throwing out there, so we don't muddy the waters with this is a 7. We could be like, this is a solid 4. Solid 4 right here. 4 out of 5.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Here we go. Good. I haven't put my tongue to it yet, but we're gonna stick with the 1 to 5.
Okay. There you go.
And
hop on the Discord. 1 to 5.
1 to 5, and I will visually animate my face to kind of express how crazy 5 is versus something below that. Okay. All right, here we go.
If I could see your face right now, that'd be great.
It would be great, wouldn't it? I'm so sorry that's not working for you. I can see yours. That being said,
this is my 0 or a 1 right now.
Ooh, 0? I thought 0 would have been more extreme.
What, like?
Yeah. Maybe if you're a hateful raider, someone rates things hatefully. Okay, anyway, to reiterate, I thought season 1 of Arrow was a solid 4 out of 5. Season 1, like it was slow. It started building up to something pretty exciting and epic, and it ended on a fairly epic note.
You also said there was a bit of fluff in there.
I did, because the thing is with the modern day of television is that some networks, prime television networks, still try to squeeze 20 whopping episodes out of a season, and a lot of people are getting used to the streaming method where they put out anywhere from 8 to 13 episodes, which is a little more digestible.
That's what I'm used to, is the 13-ish episodes.
Mm-hmm. And throwing out a little side tangent note, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started out with trying to do 20 plus episodes, and I mean, regardless of your personal opinion on the show, it was suffering. It was suffering from not having a driving, cohesive storyline, and then I guess beyond season 3 and beyond, they actually took the seasons and put them into blocks. So that they actually, which actually became more successful. They took season 3 and 4, and they split them in half. So they gave a cohesive storyline for the first half, a beginning, middle, and end, and then a cohesive, second story, and then maybe they wrap both ideas up in the finale. But I think that's the streaming method. That's Netflix's classic. The most common episode length on Netflix right now that's popular is the 10 episode run.
Yeah.
The Marvel Netflix original series climbed up to the 13 mark, which is kind of half of the 20 to 24 episode Prime television shows. And then occasionally some series cut it down to 8, which, again, I'm not against if it's a nice, solid, fun story to follow. But right now, I think Netflix has found the sweet spot to be about 10 episodes.
What is that one? Dark Mirror. How many episodes does that run?
Oh, we're talking BBC, and they do some different things. I think it's 4 to 6 episodes.
Yeah, but those are all longer in length, though, too, aren't they?
They float a little above an hour each. Not much. But it's over an hour, and I know Sherlock, that, folks, I know we keep talking about this, we will dive into that as a group soon. The show Sherlock runs close to an hour and a half each episode, and they only do 3 episodes a season, with the exception of season 2 or 3. Where they added a bonus episode. But it was only...
If I remember right...
I think it was season 3.
It was because it was with Mary.
The 1800s flashback. God, I love that episode. Anyway, we're tangenting a little bit.
Though, with those BBC series is where they do run the longer episodes, there is, as Jeff would put it, a substantial amount of meat and potatoes to those episodes.
Yep. Absolutely. And shows like Doctor Who, they run a traditional 12 episodes per season. With a Christmas special that happens in December. And shocking news, guys. I don't know all the details or reason why, but the first female doctor ever, her season, is not going to have a Christmas special for the first time in the history of the new Doctor Who. For you podcast listeners out there that can't see Lynn's expression, it is a very sombering, deep frown.
Yep. Definitely a 1 out of 5. Not a 0.
Sad.
But a
1. Not quite, but a sad 1 out of 5. We will come back to those topics in a future episode, nerds.
Promises, no goals.
Now that we've
sorry, promises, no goals.
No, well, more hope than not, because we have goals with our show now. So there's more possibility of those things coming soon. Anyway, I promise, guys, instead of trying to pump out lots of episodes, we will try to pump out the ones we've promised so often. The Rick and Morty deep dive, the Sherlock deep coverage,
sure,
Doctor Who deep dive, and so many more. Ooh, that's an intense look coming off of you, Lynn.
Expecting these episodes to be made. They better happen.
I'm making a lot of promises right now, so they need, yes, help me make them happen.
All right, let's do it. Anyway, moving on.
All right,
Arrow.
Just to wrap things up. I'm in Arrow season 2. Man, that was a tangent. All that to say that season 1, I originally gave it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty rough. enjoyed the show, but it was just hard for me to keep sticking with. So I made myself stick with it finally, and the payoff was huge. The payoff was epic, and I jumped right into season 2, and I cruised through season 2 at a fairly steady pace. I finished season 2, and man, there were some solid feels. I know I kind of iterated on this previously with you, Lynn, where they kind of introduced the Suicide Squad, a little cameo audio appearance from Harley Quinn.
She's not even a real blonde.
I know. And we had further development of other characters like the Black Canary.
Yep.
Being involved with Arrow, and then it concluded in an epic fashion again. And I think my thoughts on season 2 brought season 1 from a 7 to, I think, closer to an 8/9 for season 2. And if we're going on the 1 to 5 scale, I gave it a 4.5. Mm-hmm.
A 4.5 to a 4.75. Hey.
Hey. Let's keep it complicated, sure.
So we're already split hairs on the new numbering system.
Yeah, 1 through 10 or incremental point 25s.
4.5 to 4.75. Hey-o.
4.95. What? Let's not do that. Anyway,
Bit too technical.
Season 2 was good, and spoilers being non-important right now. If it is important to you guys and you're behind like me, skip ahead 1 minute. I'm about to divulge a few personal feelings. 1, I wasn't super connected with Sarah, aka Black Canary.
Okay.
It was still, but the weight of emotions of the other characters feeling the weight of her death were solid. Their performances were solid, and it brought me into that feeling of sadness. I know. Hashtag Lynn, I gave you the spoiler warning.
I'm just kidding. I didn't know how long. It's been out for how long? Come on.
Going into their 7th season, I guilt tripped to myself, so you shouldn't feel bad either. Anyway.
Yeah.
That being said, so Sarah's departure is sad, and they still haven't told their dad. Oh my God, Matthew and Nick, I need you guys to cross-examine my feelings, because both of them are caught up, Lynn. Both of them have seen all this crap. I'm just bouncing things off walls right now.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I know. Well, I'm making time, Lynn. I'm becoming invested.
Cheers on you, mate.
Thank you.
I haven't got the time for that.
That's fine. You have other commitments, other passions. It's okay.
This is a 1 to real life goals.
Well, true. But in conclusion, holy crap. The world is in chaos at the end of this season.
No, you should have just left it at holy crap. In conclusion, holy crap. Alright.
That being said, guys, I'm going to stay vague simply because I told you that once I get caught up, I will probably initiate a deep dive episode with one or more of the nerds here. Probably Nick for sure.
Right.
Matt and Lynn's already excluded himself from being involved, which is fine. You and me got Sherlock and Doctor Who, dude, and Rick and Morty. Don't worry about it.
You're making promises to another deep dive. We're gonna make the fans hold you to it.
Well, okay. If I do that, we're gonna have to pause on the regular weekly uploads and record 6 deep dives in a row.
Yeah, no breaks, straight through.
We're gonna do 16 hours of podcast recording.
Oh,
and then you'll see you'll see the episode sometime in December.
And by December, he means like July.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hashtag Wonder Woman push out, which we kind of mulled over that. Now that I recall, we sort of concluded that it would just be best pushed to summertime because the first one came out in summer and that's why it was successful. And there's too much competition in December. I don't know why I'm rehashing that. I just feel like we didn't. I feel like it wasn't unofficially concluded.
Now you got to move the thing back to Movie Matters.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We got to reopen the crypt and be like, hey, Wonder Woman, sorry, just go back to summertime. It works better there. Hey.
It's true. It does. I'm gonna stop all that rambling, and conclude with season 2 of Arrow. It was good. I'm really excited to see what happens for season 3. Here's the thing, Lynn. Like, I found an episode. Just a brief side note.
Another tangent, guys.
No. It's related. Completely related.
Oh, okay.
I spoiled something for myself regarding Arrow.
Okay.
Now, if you're unaware, there is a character by the name of Felicity Smoke. She is the quintessential super attractive girl in the show who is like the hardcore nerd that works for the Arrow, aka Oliver Queen. She sort of has throughout the first 2 seasons expressed that she basically kind of has feelings for the dude, but he is unwilling to commit to reciprocating those feelings because of that undying resolve to not connect meaningfully with relationships out of fear of losing someone you care about. Smallville played this shit out so heavily all 10 years with Lana Lang, Lois, Chloe, you name the characters. Clark Kent was unwilling to commit because of his fear of endangering the ones he loves when supervillains or evil threatens his life. Because what's a stereotype of heroes? They try to attack you by attacking the things you care about. So if you're in a relationship, the villain's gonna figure that out somehow and exploit that relationship to make you bend to their will. It's a tried and true stereotype of superheroes and villains. And Arrow spares no expense or pretense on the idea, and Oliver Queen plays that role hardcore by playing the cold shoulder to Felicity Smoke, who has feelings for him, and he's told her a couple times, like, he's basically expressed that he does have feelings for her, but says, I can't, my job would endanger you, even though you're my tech guru that I turn to anyway. I can't involve you romantically because I don't want to lose you. Every show that does that I call bullshit. I would never be there.
Oh, she's Oracle.
I'd take the risk, is what I'm saying. That being said, I found a season 4 episode 1 of season 4 in my library somewhere, and it was unlabeled.
No,
it was unlabeled. So I clicked play I was trying to figure out what episode this was from, so I hit play. And you know how the opening of an episode of a new season does a recap?
Yep.
It recapped some developments between Felicity Smoke and Oliver Queen that made me excited but pissed off that I now have to watch a whole nother season of him pushing her away.
Hey, at least you know that it's worth.
Right.
The wait is worth.
It's good. It's good and bad. There's pros and cons behind that. You see something, ooh, that happens that far down in the show, and you're like, but then, Lynn, it's the CW. I've got 22 episodes to watch.
Exactly. Joke's on
To
you.
get-
You got to make it through all that fluff.
To get to that spot. And I'm not saying season 3 is going to be full of fluff.
No.
But that's what I'm feeling at the moment.
Yeah.
To get to that exciting proposition of season 4.
You've already seen the light at the end of the tunnel, but you have to get through the tunnel to get there.
I know. So anyone that's behind on shows, I hope you feel what I'm feeling right now.
I'm looking at me in the camera, looking at me. Behind on shows.
Well, guys, I mean that's kind of going to wrap up TV talk. I will just throw out I got one more thing. One last thing that I don't have much to say about because I'm not that far into it. 3 episodes into Jessica Jones season 1 on Netflix.
Oh.
Quick thoughts. I'm really digging it, dude. I know you've watched Jessica Jones. I really like her character. I really like that she's kind of like a the timeline perspective of her character is she tried the superhero thing, and things happened and it didn't work for her, so she decided to do something more street level. She became a private investigator, and I looked her up a little bit on comic book history because I hadn't followed her a whole lot. But I found out that she's primarily got her primary abilities are super strength.
Yep.
And in the comics, she did have situations where she could fly, but they kind of adjusted it a little bit for Netflix's version because I did not realize how much Luke Cage was actually in. I knew he was introduced in Jessica Jones. I didn't know he was pretty
heavy.
Involved as a character in Jessica Jones. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And 2 side things. One, he questions her once they get to know each other. He questions her about her abilities, and he's all like, "Can you fly?" Because they realize they both are different than normal people. He can't be hurt physically, like his skin. He can't be cut or hurt, and he's super strong. She's super strong and is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
which is kind of the humorous side of it. And he does ask her, which is I think a nod to the comics. He's like, "Can you fly?" Which is kind of like a nod to she could in the comics originally, but she goes, "It's more like jumping."
Yeah.
Like jumping and then
like
falling and landing.
Jumping
or something like that.
Jumping with style.
Yes. Nice little callback.
Yeah.
To Pixar.
So did you make it to the point where she meets him at the bar?
Oh yes, I've made it past the point where they have had
relation
mattress, where they've gone through a few tangos on the mattress a few times.
Oh.
We'll put it that way. And like the humorous expressions of, I've never quote unquote done it with someone who also had special abilities, i.e. super strength.
Yeah.
So the passion is real in this show. Throw that out there.
Yeah.
Making this Netflix superhero show a little more adult and not because of violence. That being said, Jessica Jones season 1, 3 episodes in, I'm completely hooked. Kilgrave, aka David Tennant, aka one of my favorite Doctor Who's. Just in the brief exposure I've seen of him playing this role, super villainous and creepy as Kilgrave. Whew. Speaking of weird things on screen, what was that, Lynn? Oh!
I don't know.
YouTubers, if you want to know, podcasters, if you want to if you want to know what's happening, go to YouTube.
YouTubers, you already know.
You already know. Anyway,
I did actually, while I was out of town, I did catch a couple new episodes of South Park. Heyo.
new, like the current season
Yeah,
stuff.
like new. Like
Ha.
the one that I caught was Al Gore, and they brought back Man Bear Pig, and it was kind of it was made into. Have you seen the movie A Quiet Place?
Yes, love that one.
It had that,
Love that movie.
like, they didn't really show you that it was Man Bear Pig right off the bat, but they had like that weird like tracking kind of horror sci-fi theme to it. It was a good episode.
Yeah.
But
Nice. So, in with brief conversation about South Park, are you pretty? You've watched the new stuff. Have you stayed pretty consistent then with the series?
fairly
Like,
fairly
as far as like watching it?
fairly consistent, yeah. The episode that was on before that one was the Halloween episode where they were making fun of the e-scooters, and all the
Yeah.
all the kids of South Park were dressed up as Fortnite characters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Fortnite, in our gaming bits that we're probably not going to jump into tonight, guys. Apologies, but we are running a bit long.
No. It's all right.
Fortnite is going to get a Joker and Harley Quinn skin soon.
Oh, dang. I will probably not go back to it.
I'm not, nor have I ever been, a Fortnite player. But the one thing I will say that I kind of admire or appreciate about them is the silliness that they're okay with. I love how many.
The
I know it's
whimsy.
the whimsy. I know. I'm not stupid. I know they make money off selling different skins and cosmetics. I'm not an idiot. But the choices and characters that they introduce, I think it makes it fun. And if I had teenagers that were into it, I'd probably play it with them too. None of my kids are old enough to get into Fortnite. Thank God. I'm just sorry, guys. It's not a game I'm into, but I like the silliness of what they put out there.
I was into it when it first came out, and then it just got mildly repetitive.
I know. I've tried it before too. It's just a thing. Okay, so we've concluded. I mean, I kind of reviewed Jessica Jones and Arrow season 2. You mentioned South Park, and you're still caught. You still keep up with that show. You still find it entertaining today.
God, yeah.
It's true. I mean, South Park, out of all the adult animated shows out there, I think it's one of the few that stays extremely relevant with its jokes.
And plus, with Microsoft getting Obsidian, that's a franchise right there that will be Xbox.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time, and like, I thought that was. I mean, it's a good poll, but that was one of the franchises that like I knew was associated with Obsidian, but it was surprising that was like the first thing you went to. Clearly, you like South Park. They're also known.
Well,
they're also known for Knights of the Old Republic 2, the sequel.
Yeah,
and a handful of other RPGs.
But I do like their adaptation of turning the show into an RPG, like side-scrolling game.
Absolutely.
Like, open world side-scrolling game.
I know. I've been missing out because that's I think only has it. It's only been on PlayStation, right? Those particular ones, or is it all over?
It's all over. Like
you're right.
You can get the Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole on the Switch.
No, you're right. I've seen Stick of Truth not too long ago, actually. I'm gonna have to give them a try upon your previous recommendation that they were entertaining games. I do recall.
Definitely not safe to play around kids. Not
I
at all.
understand. I have a lot of games that are not safe to play around kids. I'm very familiar. Well, then, we're running extra long tonight, and I think now's a good time
Oh
to
yeah,
kind of
we
just.
are.
I think now's a good time to wrap things up.
Okay.
What do you think?
Hey, yeah. I mean,
Hey,
we can save things to talk about when there's actually more opinions at the table.
when the rest of our dear brothers are here.
Yerp, whom we miss dearly.
You're a derp.
A derp, a derp, a derp. Right.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Well, guys, I think that's going to have to conclude the episode for tonight. We're going to have to wrap this up, cut it out for all you 90s fans of Full House.
We're dating
Anyone out there?
ourselves again.
Yeah, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, no. It doesn't matter.
2 episodes ago, maybe even the 2-year anniversary, I think I dated myself heavily when we went into the history of our nerd background.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, I completely dated myself.
We all dated ourselves.
It's out, yeah, especially in that episode. It's out in the ether, dude. Anyway, in conclusion, guys, to wrap things up, we invite you to go to one particular location where you can find all of the nerdy content known as Nerdentials. I invite you guys.
Where might that be?
Well, then let me tell you. I invite you to go to nerdentialsmedia.com. There it is. All one word, Nerdentials Media. Type that into your URL, or better yet, just Google search Nerdentials. I promise you'll find us.
It's worth the Google.
Yes, Lynn. It is worth the Google.
Oh, man.
Absolutely. But on like an individual basis, if you're not down with the corporate lineup of one location, you guys could venture off in individual spots, also known as social media. The quick, long, short of it, or just the short of it. Let's make it short. Guys, go to Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. We manage it pretty consistently week to week. We post when things come up, and we respond pretty regularly week to week, at the very least.
Or even
Twitter.
Go for it.
Facebook or Instagram, or even what, Lynn?
Or hop onto our Discord. Come on.
You know, the number one thing we promote.
If you hop on there and you start a chat, we will answer. Either Joe, me, or Nick, or Matt. We're always on there.
Or any of the other guests on our Discord.
Even Jeff has been heavy on there lately.
Jeff Berry, shout out to you, sir. Guys, one of our older hosts on the show. Yeah. One of our older hosts on the show still stays in contact. Still a good friend. He still chats on the good Discord. And shout out to Carmen, one of our longest listeners. One of our longest listeners and feedbackers. She jumped on Discord finally. And guess what? She chats on there with us on a regular basis, guys. You can too. Hop onto Discord. It's the second link below our website on every video and podcast. Now let me wipe the sweat from my brow as I have delivered all that I can for the night. Lynn, any final feelings, thoughts, or words of encouragement before we leave?
To our viewers, don't do anything I wouldn't do.
And just for you guys out there that don't know him that well, it's a pretty limited list. All kidding aside.
It is pretty limited, but...
Guys, that's going to do it for this week. For me, myself, and I, Lynn, himself, and him, this has been your Nerdy Essentials. Exactly. And as always, nerds, we will see you on the other side. Do you want to practice doing that in unison for one time? Just once? You want to try it? No? You want to keep it awkward like it always is?
It's gotta be awkward. At this point, it's just on purpose anymore.